Hello, hello, hello. It's your girl, Paula Marie, aka the Ebony Biz Diva, and this is another episode of Mindful Monday where we get our minds right and all the way together in order to be able to start our week in a really profitable and fruitful way. And we have to do that each and every Monday by focusing on one word each month. And this month, the month of May 2022, we are focusing on the word metamorphosis. So make sure that you are liking, following, subscribing on whatever platform you're viewing this on right now. Hit that like button, hit that follow button, and hit that subscribe button because we are here for you. And we want you to make sure that you get the notification every Monday when we drop into your particular live stream in order to talk about Mindful Monday. I'm so excited today, y'all, because I got my girl, I got my special guest. I'm traveling. I'm traveling in these streets, honey. I'm traveling in these streets. And I had not only had the opportunity to talk to my girl up close and in person, I had a chance to touch her. I got a chance to listen to her voice up close and personal. We talked, we commiserated. Oh my God, we celebrated. I'm so excited to have my girl Brittany, okay? Raji Ali. Ah, 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 ah. I'm so excited. Introduce yourself, Diva. Introduce
Hey,
yourself.
hey. Man, look, you are a true sister in my book now. Hey, y'all. I'm Brittany Raji Alberti, the Marketing Midwife, and enterprises hired me to create their profitable marketing plans, and I do that by way of attraction marketing. We're a part of an amazing community called Black, Pretty, and Paid. That's where I met Paula. Not only does she kill it on the Clubhouse streets, but she's just really a genuine human being, and I'm so honored to be on your platform this Mindful Monday, and we're going to get into this metamorphosis stuff, right? I'm super excited. Let's go.
I'm excited about it because, we've got 5 Mondays in the month of May, but we always honor and celebrate our holidays because that's when we have an extra day to reset. So this is actually going to be the final period on the month of Metamorphosis, and I'm excited about that. But before I jump into it, y'all, let me show y'all what we had the honor of doing today.
Yes. Shout out to Queen Lizzo.
Hey, yes. We got our whole lives together for brunch because I'm visiting the S, the T, and the L. Because if you have been under a rock, let me just enlighten you that my son, okay, the prince, has graduated high school, honey, at the age of 17, finished school early in December. We got to see him walk that walk yesterday. And so I'm in the S, the T, and the L, and I had to make sure that I connected with Brittany. Girl, metamorphosis, that's a big old word, ain't it?
It is. It is. It is.
Yeah.
I only remember it from high school in science class.
Right. Well, listen, I'm gonna drop the definition, and it's gonna bring you all the way back to science. Okay. So let me do that real quick. So it says metamorphosis. One of the descriptions says the process of transformation from an immature form to an adult form in 2 or more distinct stages. So that's one. And then the second definition is a change of the form or nature of a thing or person into a completely different one by natural or supernatural means. So when you hear the definition metamorphosis, and you just said it took you back to science class in school and all of that, what's the thing that resonates with you in either of those descriptions? What word resonated with you?
So when I think of like metamorphosis, like when you originally said like that term again, like I thought about high school, but when I think deeper into it, I also just think about like a renewal, rebirth, like just becoming something. And I can't even say because that means that you were once there. So I would just say like a rebirth process. For me, just to be exact, like I've had a few different metamorphoses, as you know, humans do as we grow throughout life. But just even coming into being the marketing midwife was a metamorphosis. Sometimes there's just stuff that's under the, like a butterfly that's in the cocoon stage. Like you only know what you can do as a caterpillar until you come out and you become this different version of yourself. So I definitely resonate with the definition when it's saying even spiritually, like just becoming more than what you were before.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm glad that you said that because I feel like entrepreneurs feel like they have to walk the walk of whatever they initially put themselves out there to be. And they don't give themselves the space or the grace to be able to change and grow and evolve and pivot and shift. And so it's important for us to have women on that we see each other and we hear each other tell our stories of transformation, of transition, and just changing your whole entire focus of how you want to show up in the world and how you want to create change and how you want to make other lives better with your gifts, with your products and your services. You don't have to always do the same thing because that's what you said. And I think that's important. How many metamorphoses have you gone through in your business?
In my business, more than I think that I can count. So my original business was a product-based business that I started in 2015, my senior year of college. I recently transitioned out of that one in 2021 with the help of Coach Jalen. And now I want to say every year it was a bit of a metamorphosis because I lived in different cities every year. And if I would have known what I knew now, I probably would have always operated online, to be able to build and keep that. But because I moved from where I'm here in St. Louis to the Bay Area, that was a metamorphosis. It was a different market. I had to learn it. And then to Charlotte, North Carolina, and then back here. Every year I had to pivot. I had to change in order to survive and not give up. So to be at this point, and the crazy part is I always offered coaching, but I never considered never considered myself a coach. People would just come into like my stores and sit and come pick my brain. And after a while, I started getting irritated. I'm like, God, why am I helping all these people? Like, they supposed to be coming in and buying stuff. Like, I mean, not like, what I'm saying, in a nasty way, but it was kind of like, I have created an environment and a safe space where people felt like they could come and talk to me, but I did not allow myself to evolve mentally and spiritually enough to accept that I was more than a person who sold a product. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it's your heart, your soul, your spirit, your intellect, it's your whole DNA that comes into birthing a product. It's just
Yeah.
like your DNA. My DNA runs through my son and your DNA runs through your daughter. And so that DNA, that stamp, it's a piece of you that's
Yeah.
out there floating in the world. Your products and services are pieces of you. And nobody stays the same. Like your daughter's going to grow, my son's going to grow and evolve. We're growing and evolving. Our
Yeah.
bodies are changing. And so that's a true definition, I think, of what metamorphosis is that you start in one form and it says to grow in two or more forms. So
Mm-hmm.
the pure definition is giving you permission
Yeah.
to change that thing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that that's the one thing that I kind of wish, well, one, like you were saying, with metamorphosis, I noticed that in different periods of my life, whether it was spiritual growth, whether it was just evolving and becoming a woman, more of a woman that I desired to be, my business definitely changed, right? To be more meaningful, to be more impactful, to be more grounded and conscious about things, trauma informed, things of those natures. It definitely has as I have evolved my business, that like you can't like, well, one, let me not say that. There are corporations who remain consistent and the same. But if you are a solopreneur, someone who's very closely knit to your business, is going to evolve, because once you start to grow and develop, everything changes. Nothing remains the same.
I believe in that. I don't think things should stay the same. I mean, if you look at a McDonald's, I always go to McDonald's, even though I don't eat there, right? But if you look at McDonald's, the menu that they have right now was not the menu they started with.
No.
And I always go back to that orange drink, honey, because that orange drink would be the one thing that would get my dollar. And when they took it off the menu, they no longer got my dollar. Okay. I kept all 100 of my pennies to myself because that was the one thing I could get. Now they changed the formula for the fries. And so that, as they started to change and evolve, and you're going to lose some people.
Yeah.
They lost me with the fries. But guess what? They kept me with that orange drink when they brought it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we can't be afraid to lose people during our evolution, because the people that are really for you, they're for you.
I agree. And just like you were saying, I think that that's a perfect example of entrepreneurship too, especially like, so say if there's some new entrepreneurs that are listening right now, maybe your first customers aren't really an ideal client for you. And I can really say that I experienced a lot of grief from growing in entrepreneurship, because everybody's not going to ride the wave, right?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't meant to. So I've even, let me even just take entrepreneurship aside. Just like I was telling you, in this season of my life, I really value relationships, genuine relationships that are equally yoked, right? Because a lot of times in my life, I was connected to people, places, and things that weren't really aligned with myself, right? So just experiencing the grief of growing. There is, like, we talk about growing pains, but you're going to continue to evolve if you choose to. There are some people who choose to be educated fools, and just go through life like, oh, I'm gonna be down my A1. I mean, it's, well, I'm not gonna say it's nothing wrong with that. It is wrong with it, because if you are not, anything left to itself will decay. Anything left to its own devices and not expanding and getting in new environments and being in new rooms and being open and receptive and being willing to receive new information is decaying. So it is something wrong with it. I think that often we give people permission to shrink too much instead of growing. And that's what metamorphosis is getting around the right environment. Like like I said, going back to the butterfly, they gotta be in a certain environment to leave a caterpillar to make the cocoon. They don't just do that anywhere, because if they did that in anywhere, they won't survive. So it's a certain environment they have to be in order to transition to what they need to become.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that you've got to start at one level and you've got to go hard in the paint in that one level. And I find that what happens is people circumvent their metamorphoses because they're too busy trying to get to other levels before going hard in the paint in the level that they're at. Because the change happens when you touch things. I'm always telling my clients, touch it.
Yeah.
They want the 100% sure way to do something. And I tell them there's not enough data. You got to touch it. You got to go inside of it. You got to post the thing. You got to do the video. You got to send the email. You got to do the work. You got to do it, because the only way you're going to know how to grow and stretch is to do it. That's where the metamorphosis comes from. It doesn't come from doing everything right.
Oh yeah, we got to release that. I think schooling has really jacked a lot of people up with grading systems. In life, really, you only know once you do it. You're only going to get better over time. There's some people who have beginner's luck, right? And that's great. You might be able to pick up anything at a particular point and like just make something happen of it. But we got to stop beating ourselves up for not knowing and like having learning curves. That's why it's a lot of people that like try to like, well, I've turned people away that want to work with me, and you might not be ready to work with me. Maybe you need a business coach. Maybe you need a therapist. You might not be ready, like, because there's some deeper things that you need to go through in order to be able to manifest and put out better things, you know? So we got to stop beating ourselves up for the growth and development that needs to happen to become that person that can execute what you see inside of here. I'll say another big mistake that I did when I was younger is I would think that everything God would give to me was for me, or it was for that moment. Like I could vividly see it. So I feel like I had to do it right now. And it pays to be patient and grow through it and learn through and like become the person who can execute it and execute it well, you know?
Right. Absolutely. Listen, let me tell you this. When you understand that everything that comes to you is not really for you, it may need to pass through you, right? That you're the vessel that it needs to go through to reach the intention or the purpose, right? When you understand that, then it's easier for you to just release some things.
Yeah.
And that's super important, I think, for us to understand, because when you're clear in who you are, as you start to move through the metamorphosis, you'll be able to deal with things as they come, because you're moving through your intention, you're moving through your purpose. So even when you hit these adversities that come your way, it's okay, because you're
Yeah.
moving through your metamorphosis in your divine order, in your foundation. But you got to get that foundation. The only way you get a foundation is to sit in it, to stand in it, to lay in it, to cry in it, to laugh in it. You got to do all those things.
Yeah.
Can you describe one metamorphosis that your business has gone through? Like maybe it looked like this and then it became this.
If I was to speak from the marketing midwife standpoint, I was still really even trying to figure out what type of imprint I wanted to have in the world, right? So I thought that it was going to look like me doing a lot of emceeing and speaking, and because I was doing a lot of Clubhouse rooms and virtual conferences and experiences, and it has really evolved. I love being able to see a project through and work thoroughly with the individual, because what I was finding out is people are hiring you to host a Clubhouse room or to host a virtual challenge, and they're missing some fundamental parts of being able to market it and capitalize on it. So I really took a step back from doing so much hosting and emceeing to really like working one-on-one with my clients in a long-term relationship, to really make sure, like, okay, if we're doing this challenge, have we marketed here? Do we have an upsell? Do we have, like, are the things in place to really make this a bomb signature event? Because what I noticed is often when you are a person similar to yourself and you have influence, or you have, you have a certain cadence and presence and energy, people often want to work with you, but that's not enough. You know what I'm saying? Just to have a high energetic person around, you need to have your stuff together too. So I went from, thinking that I was going to be a person to really, be a thought leader in a certain space around certain signature events, to actually helping people market them and put them together campaign wise.
Yeah. And so was that scary for you because you had put yourself out there in one way?
Um, Shamika Tankerson said this the other day. She said, entrepreneurship is a game of courage. Yes. Like I told you earlier when we were at brunch, I am socially awkward in real life. Like, I can typically like introduce myself to people, but I'm not going to continue to put myself out there just because of things that I experienced in the past. So, in the digital space and, in the world of metas and things of that nature, it's easier for me because I don't take it personal because I know that they're not in my immediate space. But if I was a person who I did everything in you know, in person and where I'm around, I have to look at people and talk to them. Yeah, it would affect me because, you know, like with like Erica say, you know, like we have a certain level of artistry, and when you're putting yourself out there, you're being very vulnerable, you're being very transparent. So we all have some sense of fear of rejection. So yeah, it can be, but you know, I just keep getting back up and I'm gonna keep giving it my all.
Listen, I'm so excited that you were able to. First of all, I know everybody's tired of listening to my voice, so I'm just glad that there was somebody else on the screen. Somebody else on the screen that they can listen to, but also to hear things from a different perspective. Because today, what I realized is that we have so much that we have in common in terms of not only like what we do, but how we think and how we feel about people and how we feel about women
Oh yeah.
and women in business. And so, you know, there's some little nuggets that's been dropped today on, you know, some possible collaborations, but I feel affirmed in my level of discernment when it comes to people that I connect with. And I'm really good with that.
Wow.
So I knew before I met you, and we talked about this at brunch because I just meet people. Now I don't go around meeting everybody, but I meet people when I'm in their space or I'm in their town. I want to connect with them like in real time. Because if I'm connecting with you and I feel that we're like a kindred spirit, I want to see you. I want to touch you. I want to see the words come out your mouth. I want to hear them hit my eardrum. I want to see the smile like light me up. And Brittany, you have the most beautiful smile, but you also have the most beautiful spirit. And what you do in the marketing realm and helping people to understand the one, the two, and the three of how to put that together, super challenging for people because there's so much out there that it's hard for them to like isolate and connect to the thing they need and to stay focused. And we
Yeah.
both come from a simplistic like way of thinking. Like we don't need things to be bigger, better, more for our clients. And when we were talking, and I was like, oh, this is my girl. So I'm so excited that you came on board and said, yes, I'll do brunch with you because you know I'm a country girl. I like to eat. And so
And we
I
had a good time. Shout out to Polite Society with the bottomless mimosas because I
shout
definitely.
out, shout out. Listen, is there anything you want to leave with the audience in terms of the word metamorphosis for the month of May as it pertains to business and or life?
I do. One, thank you for having me. I definitely had a blast today as well. Um, Ladies, feel the fear and do it anyway, right? Growing, changing, evolving, becoming, allowing, aligning, like all of those things, right? Like they're buzzwords, right? But it's terrifying, right? You might hit something. It's a book called The Big Leap by Gary Gay Hendricks. Um, I highly recommend it. And he talks about hitting the upper limit problem where we will get to a certain level of success or a certain level of happiness, and we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Feel that fear and fight through it, right? Feel that fear and fight through it, and fight to live the life that you truly desire. Fight to become the person that you know that you can be, but maybe you haven't seen that around you. Fight as much as you can. And then get around people who also are going to hold you accountable to be the highest version of yourself, right? I feel like that in community with people like Paula, with people like Coach Jalen, like it's no shrinking around, right? Like you are who you are. I see you. And when I see you starting to shrink, I'm going to call you on it. Often people who have experienced some type of like, I don't want to say traumatic, but triggering situation, when somebody coming at you and saying, sis, like, no, you could do better, we get offended. And that's fear, feeling like you're not enough. But instead of letting the fear make you doubt, let the fear make you stand tall and become. So that's what I got for y'all. That's what I got.
Yes. And listen, I'm not going to touch that. I'm just going to say thank you, Brittany, for giving us a little bit of your time and spreading some true knowledge and some affirmations into us on this Monday, because that's what Mindful Monday is all about, is for us to be very, very strong and very, very strategic. Listen, you can find out more about Miss Brittany and all the wonderful things that she does by clicking onto her link that is down below us inside of the description. And I want to make sure that I am checking for each and every one of you. So please write a comment below. Let us know that you watched it, even if you team #replay. We love team #replay all day. So make sure that you put a comment in the description. Now, listen, this is brought to you by the Pinterest Your Brand Bootcamp, and you can always join the Pinterest Your Brand Bootcamp by going to the website www.pinterestyourbrand.com. Jump on the email list. But listen, when you join the Pinterest Your Brand Bootcamp, I have an incredible bonus for you: 65 business grants that are available to you right now to start applying for. Because in order for your business to grow, you need two things: you need funding and you need clients. So in order to get that funding, I want you to make sure that you sign up for the Pinterest Your Brand Bootcamp and download the list of 65 business grants. You can apply for them all the way through December 31st, 2022. There are some amazing business grants in there for you. Listen, this is your girl, Paula Marie, aka the Ebony Biz Diva. And make sure that you follow, you like, and you subscribe to Ebony Biz TV. Click the bell, click the follow, click the thumbs up, whatever you got to do, baby. Just click that thing. All right. All right. I'll see you later in these internet streets. Peace.